Welcome, everyone. Thank you for joining today's webinar. My name is Denise Pritchard, and I'm the Marketing Content Manager here at Restaurant 365, and I'm super excited to be here with you today. We'll go ahead and start today's presentation with a couple of housekeeping items, and then get right into the presentation. Just a friendly reminder that a link to this webinar recording will be sent to you in the next few days. If you need help with anything, feel free to contact us at any time at marketing@restaurant365.com. All right, I'll go ahead and introduce our presenter today, Ginny Karwowski. Ginny has been a CPA for 30 years, including a restaurant controller for 10 years with the New Hampshire-based companies Margaritas Management Group and Tuscan Brands, where she implemented Restaurant 365 with great success. She is currently an accounting solutions engineer with Restaurant 365 and is happy to be helping restaurants thrive. Joining Ginny today, we have Russell Ryan. About 10 years ago, he left a long career in aviation management to join his now wife in her restaurant business. Since then, they've grown Highway Inn to be the largest Hawaiian food restaurant in Hawaii. It's also one of the top women-owned businesses in the state in terms of revenue. He holds an MBA in London Business School and a Bachelor of Science in Physics and Electronics. He and his wife have a 3-year-old daughter and 2 dogs, and they spend their free time competing in outdoor events and traveling. Now, without further ado, I will go ahead and hand this off to Ginny.
Okay, hopefully you can hear me now. Denise, can you hear me? Okay, great.
Yes, I can hear you. You're good.
All right, great. Sorry about that, everyone. So on today's agenda, we know time is short and we apologize. We're 8 minutes in already. But we'd like to keep this to about a half hour. We know accountants are very busy in January. So what I'm going to be covering real quick is automation of our workflow. So for those of you who are new to R365, I'm going to be showing you how we can save your staff time and provide real-time insights. Then I'll be covering some reporting, some consolidated and actionable reports that for those of you who are using our software already will hopefully be new to you and something you can use in the future. And then, as Denise said, we will be talking to Russell and do a fireside chat and learn how he's used our software to benefit his business. Okay, so our first poll question, just to see how many people are still here. Do you feel like your accounting could be more efficient? And we'll just do this real quick. All right, yep, 100% it looks like. All right, let's keep going on this. Denise, thank you. 100%. So that's why we're all here. It makes perfect sense. All right, so our automated workflows. So if you're using our software, you know we're connecting to your point of sale to be able to pull in your sales tickets and labor punches daily so that you can keep an eye on how your sales are trending, as well as how is your labor as a percent of those sales. Vendor integrations, we connect with over 150 large vendors to automatically pull those invoices into our system, as well as other AP automation tools to be able to read the invoices so your team is no longer entering line by line what they've purchased for food and beverage. And then we also connect to your banks. Something that is relatively new, so if you've been on our software for a while, you might not be aware, we have schedule enforcement to be able to push our schedule back into your point of sale. It doesn't work with all point of sales, but a select number, and they are on our website if you wanted to check yours. That enforcement allows you to push your schedule in so your team cannot clock in more than 10 or 15 minutes than their scheduled time without manager approval. So that has really helped some of our clients with their labor numbers, not with the team not being able to clock in early or way past their shift. And we also have smart purchase orders to be able to either go to par if you set par levels, or we also have automation to be able to look at your sales history and be able to suggest what you should be purchasing. And Russell does use our purchasing tool, and we'll mention that when we get to his chat. Next, please. Okay, so automation, so daily sales. This is the operations view of what's coming in. So all of the sales, labor by hours, dollars, and percent, as well as the deposit that needs to go to the bank. You want to make sure that that is correct so that it can auto clear when we pull in your banking information. And you also have the ability to look at your team's hours and click in further to see exactly when they clocked in and out. Next, please. So with this information, you can run reports. So because we're automatically pulling in from your point of sale, and you can set up subscriptions to automatically generate reports from our system, these reports that I'm going to cover next can show up in you and your team's email box automatically each day. So your team doesn't even have to go into R365 to keep an eye on their business. So one report a lot of our clients like is the extended daily sales. It's got your restaurants listed down the side, how you did yesterday compared to last year. So you can compare between locations, as well as see how you're trending week to date, period to date, quarter to date. And if you've got a lot of restaurants and this would be too much to view, or you've got like district managers, you can also filter this down to just specific restaurants. Or if there's ones you want to keep an eye on, you could maybe create a problem location category so that those are the ones that are going to your inbox every day. Next slide. So the same report also includes check count, so you can see how many customers are coming in, as well as average check. Are they spending more or less than they were last year? And of course, that ever important labor percentage to keep an eye on how is your staffing compared to your sales. Next, please. Another very popular report is the flash report. So this is similar information, but more detailed and will compare to your targets. One thing I really like about this report is you'll see at the bottom log entries. So you could have your managers log into our free mobile app at the end of the night, put a quick note as to how the night went, if there were any issues. And then the next morning when this report shows up in your email box, you'll have your manager's comments right there along with their numbers. Next, please. Daily labor review. This is another report a lot of our clients like. This will compare to your targets as well as what you scheduled, and will also highlight overtime. Next, please. AP automation. I'm going to fly through this kind of quickly because I know listening to some of Russell's stories is what a lot of you would like to hear. So we do have capture automation. So as I mentioned, invoices come automatically into our system, but we do have OCR technology to be able to read the photos or email invoices that come in, as well as we offer a service to pay your vendors. If you are interested in any of this and you are a current client, please talk to your account executive or your customer service manager, and they can get you more information on this. Next, please. And then this is just the AP Center where all of that happens, where you would have all of your invoices where they are, whichever stage they are in, whether they're waiting approval, how many are ready for payment, what is the total there, as well as creating your payment runs, either for you to run yourself or for our team to send out on your behalf. For those of you with multiple locations, we do have allocation templates to allow you to easily split some of those invoices that may need to go to multiple locations. In this example, we've split it evenly, 20% to each location. But if you've got some larger locations that need higher allocation, it does not have to be an even split. You can set those up. So like your marketing budget, half of it goes to the big restaurant, and then we split the remainder between the remaining three. You can set up multiple allocations for different reasons, and this just allows you to spread invoices and journal entries very quickly. Next, please. And then automated banking. So we are connecting to your bank to pull in your information. We try to auto clear as much as possible to save you time. You can also set up rules for recurring transactions so that those will be recorded through this. And then we also allow you to record things right from our bank activity tab, it's called. And then once that's done, your bank reconciliation transactions will already be checked off, and your final reconciliation should just take minutes at the end of the month. Next, please. So auto match, just wanted to tell you, we did a study over the summer of how many of our banking transactions were auto matching, and about 58% are going through that auto clear. But we are constantly looking at this and trying to improve so that we are automating as much of your banking as possible, so less time on your hands. And then profit and loss reports. So we offer multiple different profit and loss reports, locations side by side. So each of your locations, and you can look at those weekly, period to date, quarter to date, up to year to date. An operation statement, which I'll show you quickly next. And then we also have period and year to date consolidated that you can compare to your prior year, or if you're using our budgeting tool, which I highly recommend. It's very easy to use, and then you've got these comparisons to be able to compare. And then trailing 12 periods. So that can be trailing 12 weeks or trailing 12 months, just to see how you're doing month to month. Next, please. And this is an example of that operation statement. So this would show week to week how you're doing, and as well as in total. And then if you're using our budget, we will show you the difference in that variance column so that you can track how you're doing and know what expenses you can still have room to make purchases for that final week of the month. All right. And now I just wanted to touch on a few operational reports that Russell will be mentioning a couple of these. So the first one is the menu item analysis. So if you have our operations module, you're very likely using this report. This allows you to see what the cost of each of your menu items is compared to what you're selling it for, so that you can see how much you're making on each dish, as well as the cost percentages. So you can see here at the bottom, we know based on this report, we ran this for the last month, that our cost was running 30%. If we have a target of 25%, we're going to want to do something about that pretty quick. And this report allows you to narrow in on which item it is that needs that attention. So the pork carnitas in this example, we need to go look into that, talk to our vendor about negotiating pricing or different brands or pack sizes. What can we do to get that price down? Next, please. Another report is the server sales analysis. So this shows you what your servers, what their total sales have been for the time period you run this for, what's their average check. I thought this could be a fun report maybe for a little competition. Which server has the highest average check, who's including desserts and appetizers and that sort of thing to get that check average up. But as I mentioned, Russell will tell us how he uses this report. And next, please. And just one more I wanted to mention in case you weren't aware of it, the theoretical on hand. So of course, when you're doing inventory, you can see what your current counts are. This report would also allow you to run this in between inventory counts to see how much product you have on hand. Okay, and just as I mentioned, report subscription, all of those that I showed you, you can set those up to automatically email to you and your team daily, weekly, monthly. You would select the cadence. Okay, so at restaurant specific. So with our software, Our reports are designed specifically for restaurants to help you run your business. So the key takeaways are automations save your staff time and will lead to more accurate data without keying errors, as well as that more timely data because everything's going in daily for you to take a look at. And then also our restaurant specific reports allow you to identify where the food and beverage as well as labor might be above your target, as well as the tools to help bring those costs down. Okay, so now the good part. We get to talk to Russell. Hi, Russell. Thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah, good morning from Hawaii.
Yes. So, so Russell, can you please discuss some of the time savings you've experienced using our software?
Well, for me, specifically, I've saved several hours a day. And why was that? Because prior to investing in Restaurant 365, we had several systems, and I was essentially the glue that kept them all together by downloading spreadsheets, uploading spreadsheets, uploading data, running manual reports. But with Restaurant 365, I've managed to basically whittle away a lot of those systems and actually have the system do the work for me. So it's that idea that you're transforming your business as opposed to just replicating your business processes, which I've been able to do. So I certainly save several hours a day. Plus, I managed to reduce a couple of people we had doing additional work for us, and I managed to transition that over to my GMs because the work was a little simpler in Restaurant 365, so they could handle it. So I taught them how to do that particular work, and they actually then delegated down to a couple of people to help them with the invoices. So yeah, it's definitely been very, very positive from that regard.
Nice. Congratulations. That's great to hear.
Thanks.
And for those of you who are considering our software, we don't limit the number of users. So as Russell said, they're pulling in more and more of the team to help with the easier tasks. So that is great. So you mentioned to me that you were able to greatly improve your profitability last year. Can you please describe to me the tools and or information that helped with that achievement?
Yeah, we did have a great, great year. We've been in business for 77 years. Obviously not me. And we've this was the best we ever done last year in 2024. The menu item analysis that you showed is probably the most insightful thing that we review with the team periodically, because in real time we can see, like you showed just there with the taco shop, you can see where you have an issue, and you either solve it through pricing or you solve it through working with your vendors and changing the menu around a little bit. We actually use pricing obviously more because over the last couple of years we've managed to get away with it in this hyperinflationary environment, as well with a lot of changes in minimum wage going up. We've been able to take advantage of that to sort of write our pricing, and essentially we sell everything. We know the cost of everything we sell on a real-time basis, and that's really the fundamental one that we've done. It takes a lot of programming to do. I mean, we've had to build like 700 recipes or something like that to be able to achieve this, but it's obviously shows up in our financial results at the end. And it's not just menu item analysis, it's obviously all the other productivity aspects we've talked about. I certainly have the ability to wear many, many hats and to do lots of work that I couldn't do before. And like I said, I'm able to push things down a little bit to our staff as opposed to have separate people doing those particular roles. So it certainly made us more efficient and effective that way.
Great. And congratulations on your record year. It's awesome.
Thank you. Thank you.
So I mentioned the manager log comments showing up on the flash report, but can you describe for us how your team uses that manager log that's built into R365?
Yeah. And I bet a whole bunch of the people listening right now are use text threads and chats and Gmail chats and whatever. Those used to frustrate me so much because when someone would say, well, I told you, you'd be like, well, where did you tell me in the 5 different chat groups? What we've adopted this sort of internal policy of is using the manager log to document anything that needs to be recorded, such as, the maintenance guy came today, the solar panels were fixed today, the pest control came today. In addition to all the shift reports, like, we had this issue, we had that issue, this guy called out, we even document in their termination dates and hire dates of people. So essentially we use that pretty extensively for anything, because I'm sure I'm not alone in the fact that, you think, well, when was that? Oh, that was about a month ago. And you look and it's 4 months ago. And then you have an actual date and you actually know for sure. And it saves so much time to know exactly where you have it. And of course, you have to train your staff to do that. And they generally like to do that because they know if I'm looking for a piece of information, they know I'm not bothering them for that piece of information. They can just look it up. Which is a pretty good thing for them.
Great.
So it's very, very, very useful tool. Yeah.
Great. That's awesome. All right. And many of our clients don't use the purchase order tool when they're first implementing our software. So for those who are thinking of using it, can you please describe how you use it to assist in your operation?
Yeah, that's interesting, because that was to us one of the most important things, because previously we used to just people just used to pick up the phone and call in an order at the end of the day. We actually developed order templates because, our business, like I said, it's been around a long time. It's pretty consistent and repetitive what we do. We're not doing new dishes every day. That's sort of our model. So that translates back to having very defined templates that we order from. So literally, rather than have somebody making a phone call and just randomly ordering things, we have these templates and we have a physical document which now is on record, and we know it's gone over to the vendor by email. We tested every single vendor out to make sure they were getting these POs, and they like it. We have a printout, and we also when the order comes in, they can sort of sit there and check it off on it. And it also allows us to issue credits and make notes, things that turn around. So we've managed to improve the number of credit memos that we get as well, because it just tightens everything up from that perspective. So yeah, that was one of the very first things we implemented, because it was sort of low-hanging fruit to us.
Excellent. Thank you. All right, so we just have a couple minutes left. So final question. You mentioned that you regularly transfer inventory between locations. How has R365 saved you time and or improved the accuracy with your food and beverage cost there?
Oh yeah, every month that used to take me about 6 hours every month to look at all of our transfers. I even had to email staff. I had to go and correct all the typographical errors in the report, do a lot of Excel work. Now it's 20 minutes. I can run that analysis and then put an invoice and a AP in there and essentially set it up in my bank and arrange for a transfer between the location of funds and of sort of the margin that we put on, allow for that. And the inventory is taken care of all in the background by Restaurant 365. So yeah, it certainly makes that much easier. Again,
Nice.
saving me time every month, which I like.
Great. So Russell, thank you so much for your time. We appreciate you sharing your stories and wish you much continued success.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much, Ginny and Russell. Before we sign off, I have one more poll question for everybody. So let me go ahead and put that up there for you. So would you like more information about Restaurant 365? I'll give you guys a little bit of time here to go ahead and let you put your answers in. All right, let's go ahead and end the poll. Thank you all so much for your responses. And then one more quick little announcement here. We do have our restaurant transformation tour in New Orleans this year. It's a one-day event that will feature a variety of sessions tailored to different tracks and roles within the restaurant industry. It's a fantastic opportunity to connect with other restaurant professionals and to learn from one another. You can go ahead and scan that QR code on the screen to learn more, and we definitely hope to see you all there. All right. All right, well, this concludes our webinar. You will receive an email with a link to download a recording of the webinar to listen to again or to share with your colleagues. Thank you again for joining, and we hope to see you all again soon.